Welcome back to some more Umineko When They Cry. So there was nothing eventful because where we last left off, those two, George and Shannon, were on a date. And I always question myself, is this like, does it take place before? Because I don't know how they were able to like get permission to date and such. Um, we already know Shannon is the servant of the Ushinomiya family, and they were discussing this, this magic exists or whatnot. You know, it's odd because so far, like, it's just that the different story or perspective and whatnot.
そういうものの類かもしれません。一つ違うのは、おまじないなんかじゃなく、本当に本当の魔法だったという点です。
That's what I wonder too. Is it really like that? Not some sort of some suspicion of the sort. Maybe it's all girls, not just Shannon, who tend to treat encounters as miracles or coincidences. Excuse me. For a man like me, an encounter with a girl is 70% hard work to try and make her like you, 20% courage, and 10% coincidence. The part that means everything to her is a much smaller factor in my mind. Maybe that way of thinking itself is calculating and typical of men. But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve all kinds of magic. Yeah, you're gonna like ruin the atmosphere if you do that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Your date ain't gonna go so well. But if I said that out loud, it might dissolve all kinds of magic. To my mind, there were lots of coincidences, compromises, and expended effort on both sides before we gained the relationship we have today. At the culmination of all that, we get to spend this joyful time together. What is this, some kind of afterlife, or is this just they're revived and now they're on a date? What's the ideal here? And if she wants to call that magic, I've got no objections to her choice of words. So I'll stand up for that magic.
そうだね。
Oh.
同じ運命を100回繰り返したら、僕と君がこういう関係になる結果は一度しか起こらないものだったかもしれないね。
What is this, some sort of probability going on? What does that got to do with it?
互いを意識し合いながらも、僕たちは他人行儀な関係を今も続けていたかもしれない。そんなよその世界の僕らから見れば、今の僕たちはまさに奇跡のような関係に違いないだろうから。
I wonder what George's parents' thoughts on this, though. That's the thing.
そういうのじゃなくて、
Pretty sure I already said that from the last part, but sure.
本当に魔法なんです。男の方にいくら言ってもこういうのは信じてもらえないんでしょうか。
The magic is real, I'm telling you.
カノン君も全然信じてくれませんし。
Even Canon didn't believe you? What the?
信じるよ。僕が信じなくて魔法が解けたら嫌だからね。
Just don't be like Battler. That's all I can say. Just don't ruin the atmosphere.
ジョージ様。
Especially in this occasion. In a small voice, I apologize for saying something that trivialized her magic. Shannon seemed to be glad to hear me say that. After all, if two people believe in the magic of love, it becomes eternal. I think George is doing that for the sake of just not wanting to ruin the atmosphere and not just, like telling the truth of the sort. Eternal.
そうそう。
What?
僕からわがままが一つあるんだけど、聞いてもらえないかな。
はい、何でしょうか。
そのジョージ様って呼び方、
She did say that pretty often, yeah.
嫌いじゃないけどもうなしにしないかい？
Well, the thing is, George is a grown adult, and Shannon is like, I don't know, probably like several years younger. So of course, she has to go by the honorific for him. What's wrong with that?
もちろん後宮家では対面もあるだろうから、六軒島での普段まで強制はしないよ。
I mean, you two are not in the mansion. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
でも二人きりの時はなしにしよ
That's exactly what I mean by that.
う。うん、そういうルールにしよ
It's not like any freaking. It's not even like there's any relatives around.
ルールですか。もし破ったらどうなるんでしょう。
う。そうだね。
Uh-oh.
ルール違反には何か罰ゲームがないといけないかもしれないね。そうだな。何がいいかな。聞きたい？
いえ、聞きたくありません。
But what is the punishment?
何がいいか僕も考えておくことにするよ。
はい。ジョージさん。
Oh, that's a different honorific then.
うん。素敵な響きだね。嬉しいよ、シャノン。
私もサヨという名前があります。
Saya.
そっか。ルールはフェアじゃないといけないね。僕もそれを守って今から君のことをサヨと呼ぶことにするよ。
I feel like this is like the second episode was like an alternate timeline. Even though Shannon's real name is Saya, I kind of wonder too. It's like George did like some sort of like propose request last episode of Shannon after like Shannon said her real name. And if this is second episode, that would mean this is an alternate timeline. So I don't know. I could be wrong. It's just what I'm assuming. And my assumption could be possibly wrong or whatnot.
いいね。サヨ。
はい。
I held her shoulder and drew her close. When I forcefully pulled her delicate body towards me, she dove into my chest like a doll. As I held her head in my arms, we both looked at the horizon.
真っ青な海だね。この海を二人で見られてとても嬉しいよ。
私もです。この真っ青な海をあなたと二人で見ることができてとても嬉しいです。
As we gazed at the gray sea and the light rain began to sprinkle down, we kept listening to each other's heartbeats. Then both lived happily ever after. Alright, that's the end of this episode. Oh. This ain't good. It seems about to go down in the sword. The sound of waves flows into my ears. No, it's the sound of an enraged sea. My body, bathed in painfully cold splashes does not allow me to forget. It won't let me forget the memories of the day my old fate was broken and smashed. Once, tomorrows were literally like looking into a mirror. All I ever saw, all I ever saw there was the person I already was. Tomorrow was absolutely no different from today. That was my old fate. But then for the first time I saw a different fate beyond the mirror. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite out of the fruit of knowledge. She torments me, saying I'll be furniture as long as I stay in God's paradise. So I decided to choose the path of knowing love and try to become a person. Those days were like sweet honey, but at the time I didn't realize that they'd be the start of a new kind of suffering. Ay ay ay. That's... Now this is what we call the harsh reality. I thought this is like live happy ever after, but nope. Seems the fate is going to be the same way no matter what, just like the previous moment. I've arrived at a small island on the motorboat I've only just learned how to use. No, this can hardly be called a small island. It's little more than a rock jutting out of the water. On this rock is a torii and a small shrine. See, now this is a background I didn't see before. It was probably built to worship the guardian deity of Rokujima. Even though I don't know exactly what it signifies, I know it has to be something holy. Even in a place like this, I've got to take just one more look around to see if there's anyone who might get mad at me for coming. I see nothing but the stormy ocean, Nijima looming in the distance, and the waves breaking against Rokujima's steep cliffside. Oh, what's going on here? I ready myself, timidly approach the small shrine, and take the mirror that lies there as an offering. The mirror looks old, cloudy, and dirty. That would probably make any normal mirror seem horribly cheap. However, since the mirror has been placed in this small shrine, its appearance seems to give some sort of divine quality, but there's one thing I can tell. This is no simple mirror. It may seem like an old, battered mirror to a non-believer like myself, but it has a great significance. Mirror? What is this? Is this like a portal? It's like a, it's like a generic mirror, but like a portal type of thing. We're going to another dimension. It's great significance. Is it really okay to break this after being captivated by honeyed words? No, this isn't really a mirror. This is the life I couldn't escape until today. My fate. I'll break it. I'll smash it and seize the life that lies beyond this mirror. If I don't smash it, my life will be a pair of facing mirrors forever. Nothing will ever change in the slightest. Ooh, same background with the little purple vortex. The witch whispers to me. She tempts me to take a bite of the fruit of knowledge. Or maybe I've already tasted of that fruit. After all, I've already experienced those maddening emotions. Just as Adam and Eve felt compelled to pluck their fig leaves, I can no longer go on without breaking this mirror. I've struggled with conflicting emotions for many days before this moment. Inside my heart, the virtuous part of me kept on fighting the part that sides with the witch. Mental health is trying to fight against the witch. Now here I am. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? Is this anything in tips right here? Oh no. It's just epitaph. What about characters? Oh. Oh, this... Wait. So the two on a date is just an illusion after all? Or is it just one of those you just escape from the mirror at a time like this? Not like this. Oh man. You gotta be kidding me. So this is just... I guess the dream is gone. Unfortunate. Did the part of me that's here right now win or lose? There's only one thing I know. To obtain something, you must be ready to lose something. Cowards who don't risk anything, who never try to change anything, will never be given the key that opens the path to a new future. That key is already in my hands. That key is to break this, to smash it. Is there any other effort I could make furniture imprisoned in Rokujima? No, this is the only way for me. Come, have courage. I'll free myself from being mere furniture, and by accepting a new kind of suffering, I'll become human. Free from this, the shackles, sort. This is surely a small yet large trial I must impose on myself. Now, break it. I'll smash to pieces the eternally unchanging fate that imprisons me. I raise the mirror high. I think back on the days of conflict that came before, and finishing my reflections in the blink of an eye, I throw it down. Just broke the mirror just like that. Proper timing right there. The thunder roars, crying out against me for my outrageous act. It truly is the hatred of angels trying to banish me from eternal paradise. I look down at the mirror tumbling at my feet, broken in two equal parts, and after making sure I've accomplished my task, I scream up at the raging skies.
いや、約束は守りました。今度はあなたが約束を守ってくれる番ですよね。
Thunder roars once more. I've already been banished from paradise, so I'll have to struggle on my own if I want to live. The witch told me that is the single element of this world. To lose it means losing the world. Like how a canteen with a hole in the bottom can't be filled, no matter how much water you pump into it.
約束は守りました。今度はあなたが約束を守る番です。私の願いをどうか叶えてください。ベアトリーチェ様。
Furniture. That's what the track is called. So, according to the second opening that was introduced, well, for the second episode, obviously, the opening theme is the same. Well, I do like the theme, but it's like, well, I thought it would be different. Although the images shown is either same or it is like a little bit different compared to the previous episode, as there were like more characters that I have not seen yet, and then there's a possibility in which there's probably like more of the cast to be introduced. I mean, so far in the cast, there's like the Ushiromiya family, and then the witch. I think they call it the witch perspective, which is Beatrice and Berncastle. So no Lamb Delta, or how whatever the fuck her name is. But let's see. We're 20 minutes in. My mind wandered back to the days when I could barely imagine the happiness I have now. I was a middle schooler at the time, a normal girl who thought about love as much as you expect of someone at that age. But in truth, it was wrong of me to have that dream. After all, I am furnished. Oh, so this is Shannon's perspective. So, if Battle would be the main character for the previous episode, does that mean Shannon is like the main character of the story? Like Shannon and all that shit? And furniture. Furniture is nothing more than a tool, not a human. As a person less than human, simply receiving an education was an enormous blessing. So in reality, even thinking about falling in love was more than I deserved. Oh. Oh, it's this freaking conference. Dude, is this going to be like the same family chat, for quote unquote friendly chat like last time? Oh boy, this will be exciting. The Ushiromiya family conference was a customary event held every October, but relatives sometimes visited at other times. Of course, they didn't come just to drink tea. Then what the fuck did... Yeah, but why... Man, at least have something. On this day, Eva's family was visiting the head family on Rokujima. The three members of Krause's family and the three members of Eva's family had gathered in the parlor, and were having a friendly chat about recent events. Genji had supposedly told Kinzo of Eva's family arrival, but he still hadn't come down. Wait, what? So, told Kinzo. Oh, yes, typical Kinzo. Like, it's not, doesn't surprise me at all. It's like, he loves having fun with his black magic of the sort. Is that the black magic, or he's doing chess with Nanjo? If Nanjo is like up there in the study room, of course, he was probably immersed in his research and couldn't spare the time. Yeah, so we'll just call it research. Nothing sus. Couldn't spare the time. This often happened, so the others waited patiently for their fickle father to arrive.
ほう、それは頼もしいじゃないか。お父さんのところでたくさん勉強して、早く手助けができるよう頑張りたまえ。
ありがとうございます。今は父の紹介でたくさんの人生の先輩方に本当に貴重な勉強をさせていただいています。
So this is the first time both George and Krause are having a conversation together. Now, if those two are having a conversation, I wonder what it's like with Battler having a conversation with Krause. Because the previous episode where he said that he never had much conversation with Krause before. So there's that. Maybe we'll find out. Oh man. That's the thing with Battler, it's like if he talks to his family like that, I wonder how it's like to him to talk to Krause. Because he talked with almost like everyone here. Sorry, especially the servants.
そのいずれも学校では学べないことばかりです。
学校で習うのは国語算数やない。ものを学ぶ姿勢と態度を学ぶんや。その基礎ができて、ようやく生涯をかけた勉強が始まるんやで。ここをな、勘違いしとるやつは、生涯学べん石頭や。
Oh, he does got a good point there. You can't end up as ignorant endlessly in your entire life.
国語算数で満点取れても会社じゃ役に立たへん。
Isn't that the simple foundations of it? I don't understand your logic, man. But Hideyoshi is actually pretty funny, dude.
全くその通りだよ。
What? You agree? You agree with this guy? That's new. I never knew Hideyoshi and Krause. I didn't know Krause agrees with him. This is the first time I've seen it because thing is with Krause, aren't you being cocky with this shit earlier?
秀吉さんの教育方針はいつも本当にご立派ですな。
Oh my god. Yes. His style of philosophy when it comes to the education system sure is impressive.
ジョージもまだまだ半人前や。
What?
それを常に忘れんで、勉強に励むんやで。
He's a grown adult, though.
よしなさいよ、あなた。ジョージはいっつも一生懸命頑張ってるわよ。ねえ。
Ah, typical of you, Eva.
本当に立派ね。うちのジェシカにも爪の赤を分けてもらいたいわ。
Ah, yes. You can't stop Jessica being the rebel child of the sword.
チェ
Oh. I forgot. I thought Jessica wasn't here, but she was. I guess, Krause. When they say Krause's family, well, just can't forget Jessica.
まだテストの結果を根に持ってるのかよ。受験勉強は私なりにやってるって。こんな席でまで言うことはねえだろうよ。うせえぜ。
Wow. Once people started praising George for his diligence. Oh my goodness. Diligence. I fucked it up. My bad. I don't know, man. When it comes to this family conversations and all that shit I'm looking at, it's just like I'm not even taking this serious because this isn't that I could make a theory of. The conversation usually turned to Jessica, who hated studying. Where have I seen this sort of family part of the scene before? Who hated studying. Jessica made an openly displeased face as though she'd known this would happen.
やれやれ。ジェシカは勉強と一緒に少しはおしとやかな言葉遣いも学ぶ必要があるんじゃないかね。後ろ宮家の家紋を背負う一人娘がそれではみっともないな。
Wow. Fucking Krause just straight up roasting his daughter.
あら、これはこれで魅力的よね。
I mean, surely this is like the minds. It's either like Jessica decides to talk like that, or this is just part of her tomboy mindset.
時代は変わるのよ。
Then again, I've seen like enough anime to realize it because it's just once you watch enough anime and read enough manga, you probably can point out the obvious. In which it can be a bit silly, it gives you some laughs, but at the same time you just it can be a bit repetitive.
男に食わしてもらうために定宿を装わなくてはならなかった時代はとっくに終わってるんだから。
そうそう。やっぱエヴァおばさんは分かってますね。
Oh my goodness. Eva made like her opinion, and then Jessica just straight up agrees with her.
今日は頭痛が特に答えます。
As soon as this happens, and then Natsuki's like, "Yep, I think I had enough of this. I need to leave."
大丈夫ですか？夏日おばさん、顔色が優れないみたいです。
ありがとう。大丈夫です。でも本当に月日が経つのは早いものね。半ズボン姿で浜辺を駆け巡ってずぶ濡れになって帰ってきた日がついこの間のように思います。
Interesting bit of a metaphor right there coming from Natsuki, who's a middle-aged woman. Run around half naked by the beach in her back soaked. Well, where? You know what Umineko needs? He needs a beach scene.
それはジェシカちゃんも同じよね。
Like, quit with this family toxic BS and have a beach scene. It's all you ever need.
今じゃお化粧の仕方にだってこだわるレディーなんだから。
What? You mean to tell me Jessica never puts on makeup in her life? She rarely puts on makeup?
眉にこだわりがあるのね。今日のあなた、とってもキュートよ。
ありがとうございます。誰も気づいてくれなかったんで、自信なくしてたとこです。
I'm confused. Fussing over makeup? I guess she... I don't get it. I don't get how it works. Oh, sorry. A full smile rose to Jessica's face as the results of her own studies were finally appreciated. Studies? When does studies and makeup has to do with anything in this topic? Eva smiled back in the same way. Then she turned that smile towards Natsuki. Oh, you're just gonna roast Natsuki just like that.
ダメよ、夏日姉さん。自分のこの小さな変化にも気づかなくちゃ。かわいそうなジェシカちゃん。一番最初にお母さんに気づいてもらいたかったでしょうに。ねえ。
いいんです、いいんです。あの人、そういうの全然気づかない人なんで。
Yikes. That's one way to talk back.
ジェシカ。
Oh. Kraus is standing up to his wife.
母親をあの人呼ばわりとは感心できんね。
That's kind of rare for hearing that from Kraus, but you know.
謝りなさい。
言葉遣いについては後でよく言って聞かせます。
Uh-oh.
お子様は邪魔だってんならそう言ってくれよ。私は席を外させてもらうぜ。ここは空気がよどんでるぜ。
ジェシカ。
Jessica was still at the age where tests and entrance exams are pretty nerve-wracking. Recently, she'd clashed often with her mother, who was enthusiastic about her education.
失礼いたします。
What's going on? Jessica, who was trying to leave the parlor in a bad mood, bumped into Shannon, who was pushing a serving cart filled with tea.
ああ、シャノン。私の分のお茶はいらないぜ。
Bit of a shocker. She almost gave Shannon a heart attack.
私は庭でもほっつき歩いてくる。
お嬢様？
シャノン、お茶が冷めます。配膳を急ぎなさい。
Fucking hell. This is exactly just like the previous episode. It's just Natsuki's just being an ass to her. Even as though she just got here.
失礼しました。
Shannon hadn't actually done anything wrong. That's the point. What I'm trying to make here. But Natsuki, who felt like something shameful to herself had been shown, lashed out at her emotionally. Now to lash. Now, did she just vent? She's just. So did she just lash at her emotionally because of the how Jessica talked back to her, or this is just where Natsuki she just have a grudge with her for like absolutely no reason? Because you know, typical of her, you know. That's how, you know. This was something that often happened in the Ushiro Miya family, but it seemed Shannon wasn't strong-willed enough to just accept it and move on. She shrank back and cowered while serving the tea. She had the unfortunate habit of making more mistakes when she cowered. Her pitiful appearance ruined the peaceful atmosphere that had existed a moment before. It wasn't really Shannon's fault, but she thought she might be the source and felt a pressure on her chest. Her shaking fingers made the utensils clang, and you couldn't have called it graceful, not even just to be polite. The more pitiful she appeared, the greater the silence grew. The more irritated Natsuki looked, and the more Shannon cowered. Shannon's thin neck felt like it was being suffocated and choked by the reaper known as stress. At that time, George spoke brightly, blowing away the stiff atmosphere.
これはいい香りだね。
Thank goodness.
何の紅茶かな？
It's just, thank goodness that silent and toxic atmosphere is over.
これは。
言わないで。
I mean, surely there should be some. Maybe I'll get some backstory about Natsuki later on as to why she talks like that. I don't know if it really explained much from the previous episode, but I don't know. Nothing really changed when it comes to alternate timeline.
当てるから。これは特徴的な匂いだから多分わかるよ。アールグレイかな。
Hey, it's my favorite tea flavor. Well, not really, but it's just one of those typical flavors.
多分そうだと思います。
多分アールグレイで合ってるよ。台所に戻ったら紅茶の缶を見てごらん。
ほう。ジョージ君は紅茶に詳しいのかね？
What? Why you? I feel like, man, Kraus really loves to stick his nose in other people's business pretty often, huh?
お世話になっている社長さんに紅茶の詳しい人がいまして。
There you go.
講釈を聞いているうちに少しだけわかるようになりました。
ああ、おこのぎ食品の社長さんかい。あの人、そういううんちくは得意やな。
Reasonable.
紅茶の名前って産地を示すことが多いんでしょ？じゃあこれはアールグレイという土地で栽培されたのが由来なのかしらね？
I feel like the way to prevent the silent, scary atmosphere when you're in like a family conversation or is to like change a topic. Although I don't know if that applies to like online voice chats as well, because hearing this silent atmosphere just really bothers me at times. Surely, it's what happens when it depends on the social media platform sort. Then again, what if it does rot? What if silence does rot the brain?
昔、イギリスにグレイ伯爵という人がいたそうで、その人にちなんでつけた名前だそうだよ。
Got a little bit of a lore dump, huh?
ちなみに、この特徴的な匂いは茶葉のものではなくて、ベルガモットというみかんの親戚にあたる果物でつけたものなんだって。
そうなの。初めて知りました。
See, changing the topic does change her mood.
そういう知識を持っていると、紅茶もより美味しくいただけますね。
Just a bit of and take notes from George, break the negative atmosphere.
酒もタバコも同じや。嗜好品はロマンをたしなむもんやで。こういううんちくが味わいを深めるんや。
薬の能書きと同じよね。夏日姉さんも愛用してる頭痛薬の説明書、今度はじっくり読んでから飲んでみなさいよ。
I wouldn't recommend going that far, to be honest. Oh boy. That's just typical as usual.
それはいい。今夜試してみなさい。
Oh, I guess Krause didn't mind that at all.
ええ、試してみます。
Okay, well, that's that.
シャノンちゃん、そのポットを開けてごらん。茶葉の中にベルガモットを乾燥させたものが混じっているのを見つけられるはずだよ。
はい。入っています。オレンジの皮を乾燥させたようなものが混じっています。
うん。多分これがベルガモットだね。アールグレイの香りの主成分だよ。匂いは鮮烈だから味がきつそうな印象があるけど、素直で飲みやすい味なんだよ。ミルクティーにすると香りもまろやかになって素敵かもしれないね。みんなに注いでポットに余った分があったら、ぜひミルクティーにして飲んでみるといいよ。
はい。ありがとうございます。
George gave her a small wink. Shannon finally realized that George had kind-heartedly swept aside the tense atmosphere in the room, and that's a good thing. And he had done it for the sake of Shannon herself, a cowering servant. I wonder if Canon is watching from the distance, because just like always, that's what I would assume. The Ushiramiya family did not pamper their servants, but no shit. Any display of awkwardness would be harshly punished. So it was rare for them to be given a helping hand like this. Thanks to George's kindness, Shannon managed to regain control of herself and finished serving tea without further incident. As long as she stayed calm, she could carry out her work elegantly and flawlessly. By the time the black tea was laid out on the table and its elegant scent filled the room, the atmosphere had completely returned to its former peaceful mood, and everyone praised George's knowledge. Shannon wanted to thank him for saving her, but it didn't look like she would get the chance. So she decided to at least thank him inside her heart, praying to God that George would hear it as she pushed the serving cart away. You know, conflict resolved. Just like that.
ジョージ兄さんは昔からそういう時には助け舟を出してくれるんだよ。
Yeah, you know, it's always a good dude, like always.
話題をさらりと変えてくれるというかさ。
That's exactly what I mean. Just change the topic, forehead. Shannon and Jessica were in the rose garden. Jessica still hadn't returned to the parlor after getting into a fight with her mother and was nonchalantly killing time here.
思い返せば、こういう助けられ方をしたのは今回が初めてじゃない気がします。
Whenever I made a careless mistake and George was around, I'm pretty sure he'd always naturally smooth things over and restore harmony. Maybe it wasn't something as direct as picking up a fork that had been dropped, but that was his way of caring. Even servants have their pride. They want to fix their own mistakes by themselves. Yeah, well, doesn't everyone make mistakes? I guess a mistake I guess my thing is though, I guess a mistake can offend almost everybody. And if a guest lends them a hand, they'll lose face.
そういう空気を読むのが得意なんだろうぜ。ま、ジョージ兄さんの美学なんだろうよ。あの人、妙に気ざったらしいところあるからな。
そんなことありません。とっても素敵な方だと思います。
ひょっとしてシャノン、ジョージ兄さんに惚れた？
I wouldn't be surprised because, you know, for once, Shannon had disagreed with Jessica in a slightly forceful tone, which immediately caught Jessica's attention. Has anything changed, really? Well, the description's all the same. Yeah, it does seem a bit different, although Tips doesn't really say anything. No. Caught Jessica's attention.
いえ、そういうことはないかと。
そういや、ジョージ兄さんってあまり浮いた話を聞いたことないし。あれ？確か家庭的な子がタイプだとか前に聞いたかな。そりゃいいぜ、シャノンぴったりじゃん。
私がですか？そんな、私にはそんな資格ありませんし。
That's something I didn't expect on a girl-on-girl conversation. It's typical of anime, to be honest.
資格はあるぜ。何年も昔から顔を合わせてて、半ば幼なじみ状態。互いに男女であることを意識しないナチュラルな関係ってのは、一度意識し始めるとトントン拍子らしいぜ。
Jessica loved the teen magazines with this kind of story, and she was always getting excited talking about that kind of thing with her friends. She was very quick to pick up on love stories like this, So this wasn't the first time Shannon had been exposed to this kind of story. But this certainly was the first time she started thinking of George as a member of the opposite sex. She was furniture, while George was an honored guest and a member of the Ushiromiya family. Until now, she'd assumed that even imagining any deeper relationship with him would be impermissible. So she hadn't thought of it, since it was someone else's problem. Jessica poked fun at it, seeming to enjoy herself. It was all Shannon could do to hide her blushing cheeks. If George were to appear at a time like that, she'd have no chance of keeping her cool. Well, that was a pretty good time to, you know, save. Oh, that's an empty save slot. See, I put it over there and I was like, well, I guess this was occupied, but I put it right here as a mistake, but I'll just put it right here. Alright. This is a good time to end it from here. We'll pick it up for the next part. So, let's find out after the conversation gets interrupted. So, like, comment, and subscribe. See you then. Yeah, have a good one.